Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to go ahead and discuss why landlords fail when it comes to managing their own rental properties. So just get right into it. The number one reason why landlords fail is cash flow problems, which probably makes sense. They just run out of money. And a lot of it comes to, obviously you're going to always have unexpected things happen to you, but what you need to do is control the controllable. So you want to plan for those unexpected costs. And that's what gets people into trouble. We're always going to have, everyone seems to know that they're always going to have unexpected repair costs when it comes to owning a home. But a lot of times they actually don't plan for it. And when they don't plan for it, that's when they fail. And that's when they go bankrupt, have to sell the house, just lots of things. Or they're not even making any money on it. So that's what you need to determine, when you go to buy a house, if you can actually make money on it. Because, if you're just going to be providing a charity, that's a whole different, situation. But if you're planning on running a business and you end up running a charity, you're not doing what you plan to do. So it comes down to, improper planning. So, when it comes to cash flow, obviously, for those who don't know what cash flow is, it's, you want to make sure you're bringing in more money than you're spending. And, if your mortgage payment on the house, if you bought the house with a mortgage for, you have a mortgage payment of, we'll just say $500 a month. You don't want that house to be rented for $500 a month. Typically, as, I've stated in previous videos, you want to rent it for, personally, I would like to rent it for something around $1,000. Now, if that house can't rent for $1,000, if that house does rent for $500 a month, then I don't buy that house because my mortgage is going to be $500 a month and I can only get $500 a month in rent for it. I'm not going to buy it because it just doesn't make sense. But if somebody goes and buys that and then they are upset or they don't understand why they're not making any money, well, it's because they didn't do proper planning. They didn't do their research. And that's pretty much with all of real estate. You always have to do your research. You always have to understand the market. So obviously, if you're only making $500 a month in rent and your mortgage is $500 a month, that means you're not making any money for unexpected costs. Like you need to put in a new door or new heater, new fridge, like new stove, something like that, new window, replace something in the floor, roof leaks, all that stuff. It's gonna happen. It's always gonna happen. It could be something small. You could just need to replace a faucet for $50. Like, could be something simple like that. You might need to put a whole new HVAC in for $8,000. These are just stuff that you need to plan for. So if you're renting the house for $500 and you have $0 a month extra for repair cost. So like I said, I would like to rent a house for $1,000 a month if I'm paying about $500. So that means I get $500 a month. And then if something happens to it, I at least, am making $500 a month in cash flow off that house. And, that's a good amount to be making to, pay for all these unexpected costs. So, there's always the cash flow problems on the expense sides. That's obviously something really, really important to consider as well. But also what you should consider is what happens if your renter can't pay, they lose their job, they don't renew their lease, they move out, whatever. Basically, you stop getting rent money. Whatever the reason is, you just stop getting money from them. What's your plan? If you knew they were going to be moving out, here you at least have to give a 60 days notice for when they're going to move out. So you have 60 days. Find somebody in that 60 days. Don't sit there and wait until the last week and try to find somebody because it's most likely not going to happen. For those who've watched my previous videos that know that so far I have 3 rentals right now, and every single rental when I put an offer in and got an accepted offer when I was going to buy it to before settlement, all 3 of those times I've had a renter in place before I actually owned the property. So proper planning, that's what it comes down to. So if renter's going to leave, find a replacement before they actually move out. You can coordinate with them to, when you can show the property, when you can't show the property. You can coordinate. It's simple coordination. That's all. It's not difficult. But in the off case that you can't find somebody, like you did, you spent you know, you got your 60 days notice and you spent like about 60 days looking for somebody and you just can't find the right person, and you have to, like, you know, maybe have the house vacant for a month. Well, you'll probably know that ahead of time, like I said, if you were, you know, properly planning for it. You know, what you could do is just, you know, if you're making $500 a month off that person that was previously living in there, you know, maybe save their last month's rent. You know, you have the $500 of their $1,000, you know, rent going to the mortgage payment. Save the second $500 in between from when, you know, before you get your next tenant, so you have $500 to pay the next month's mortgage. You know, so it's just little things like that can help you with your cash flow, because you don't want to ever come into a situation where you have a rental property and you don't know how to pay for it. So these are just, you know, some quick little tips that I figured I'd share with you guys today. You know, I'm always looking online for new rentals and all that stuff, and people always ask me about rentals and, you know, in the real estate industry, and that's what I always tell them is, you know, don't just buy any house. Buy a house that will rent. You know, I mean, obviously I went over all this in the previous video, but, you know, just to quickly say it again, you know, you obviously want to buy a house that will be worth your time. You know, your time is worth money. You know, whatever price you put on your time, I mean, you should get for that if you know, actually earn that amount. So don't just buy a house and not make any money on it if your intention is to make money on it. Don't waste your time on the wrong houses. So, because you're probably going to have an unexpected cost come up, and it's just going to completely destroy your cash flow on the house, and you might not even make any money on the house for a few years. And I like to make money on the houses right away. So that's what you need to do if you want to be successful in the rental business, is just manage your cash flow. You know, eventually when you get more than one rentals, if a situation comes up, so right now I have 3 rentals. If for some reason one of my houses doesn't pay the rent, all 3 of my houses currently still have mortgages on them. And, you know, if for some reason one of the people doesn't pay, one of my tenants doesn't pay their rent, I can still pay all 3 of my mortgages with just 2 of my tenants' rents. So, you know, that gives me some flexibility. For some reason, you know, one's like 15 days late, I don't have to, like, you know, scramble and try to find money. You know, I always have, you know, as long as 2 out of 3 of my people pay, we're good. I mean, obviously, you know, we work towards getting all 3 of them to pay, and I've had like 0 problems with people not paying me. So, but I just have, you know, there's things like that you can do. You know, you have, when you start to build up and you get more houses, you know, you can start spreading the risk amongst all the houses and not have to, you know, be dependent on just one person paying your 1 mortgage. You can be dependent on 3 people paying your 3 mortgages, which, you know, might not sound easier, but it is easier to manage. So, you know, that's basically why people go bankrupt, is they don't know how to properly manage their money. I mean, the rentals are a business and you have to manage them like a business. Otherwise, you will be either running a charity or you will go bankrupt. So, I mean, that's just how it is. That's just from what I've learned in my years in real estate. So, but anyway, guys, thanks for watching today. You know, feel free to go ahead and give this one a like. Subscribe, that way you don't miss any other real estate tips, videos. You know, I do real estate videos, like drone videos for my clients. You know, I post them on this channel as well. It's in a different playlist, but like they're on this channel as well. So feel free to check them out. You know, subscribe so you don't miss them. They're pretty cool. I mean, drone videos are, you know, always cool. So why not check them all out? But until next time, guys,